Okay, this is part 4 of the of my planning for retirement series, and this has to do with transportation. Here in America, we're all used to having a car or two out in the driveway. We can just hop in and go and do or do nothing. But as you get older, that is not, and get into retirement, that may not be feasible anymore. As you get older, your car insurance premiums are likely to go up. And here in Florida, when you hit 75, they pretty much double. They want to get old retirees off the road. And since I'm will soon be 77, they certainly have done that to me. Essentially what they've done is they've made it so expensive that for me to have a car just sitting out in the driveway costs me about $300 a month. If I drive it, then I've got the gasoline cost, and if anything goes wrong with it, I got to repair it. So that certainly brings other options like Uber or Lyft or the bus even into the realm of necessity more than possibility. And really, I like that. If I'm going to have to pay that kind of outrageous price for transportation, I'd rather have somebody drive me than me drive myself. I guess I'm lucky, and then early in my career, I had a job that required me to be on the road constantly. So I lost track decades ago of how many thousands of miles I've traveled and driven. So letting go of that's no problem for me. For some people, you're going to have to really change your mindset and realize you just simply can't do that on a limited budget. So, and Uber is really not bad. I like it. I don't have to worry about parking problems or anything. As long as I stay within budget, which I budget $250 a month for transportation, which is probably less than I expect, is less than having the car sitting out in my driveway. The last time I had a car, I put about 1,200 miles a year on it. So anyway, transportation becomes a factor. So the good news is that may allow you to explore modes of transportation you haven't used ever or in many years. I'm fortunate in that Amtrak comes right through Lakeland, Florida, where I live. And so despite the shortcomings of American passenger service, rail service, it does allow me to get out and about. Here in Central Florida, we've got now the Brightline, which is a privately owned fast rail service between Orlando and Miami, which is one of the ports of departation for cruise lines, which is the one luxury I try to maintain. So that I'm going, next time I depart out of Miami, I'm going to try that. So those are the kinds of things you do have to think about and be content with, which brings up the point. I'm living in a retirement community, 55 plus community, under Florida regulations, 50 to qualify for 55 plus status on property taxes, 70% or more of the residents have to be 55 years old or over. And what that does for me is that it means I've got people within spitting distance or walking distance of people my own age or thereabouts. And of course, the facility here, as I've mentioned several times in this series, it's luxurious. It's almost like a cruise ship on land in terms of the many options it gives you in terms of entertainment, hobbies, exercise, and so on and so forth. So those kinds of things are important, and they're part of the overall package that you got to strive for. Because frankly, most of us who have a very limited retirement income, you got to look at all the angles to get the maximum enjoyment out of your retirement, given your budget. So anyway, this will be a short video. I mean, transportation is what it is. You got to go someplace, you got to go. Now here in Lakeland, Florida, we're blessed with all kinds of delivery services. Most all the retailers have some kind of delivery service, either their own or Instacart. I use Instacart heavily, and that probably adds 15 or 20% to the price of the items I buy. But hey, I didn't have to go get it, and I'm not having to pay that $300 a month for the sake of having a car to drive down there to drive to the stores and hassle with all the confusion and crowds when it comes to shopping. So it's really a blessing. I really enjoy that. There used to be an old TV series, and I can't remember. I think it was Neo Wolf, or it was a sort of detective story. And this guy that played the part, he basically was, I forgot what the name of the fear of getting out and about is, but he didn't like to get out and about. So he was wealthy enough that could have everything brought to him, including his clients and his staff. And so it was a life he enjoyed. Well, in a way, I'm find myself sort of in that position. I can have it brought to me. And if I have to go someplace, I call my chauffeur, which is Uber, and I have Uber take me there. And if it's too far for Uber, then I got to look at other modes of transportation like trains, bus, airplanes, whatever. But all that's manageable with a little bit of planning. What you give up by not having that car sitting out in the driveway is that you can't do things on the spur of the moment. It requires a little bit of planning. But you get used to that, and hey, it gives you something to do. It's not bad once you get used to it. So anyway, that covers the transportation topic. When you get into retirement, enjoy it. Why not?